So I guess I lied. After the first box, I'm already up to 440.
So I went through all my CDs the other day, and honestly, it was one of the best days of my life. And I know that sounds like a gross exaggeration, but it was surprisingly good. Like, obviously, I love music, but something about going through all the music that I had, sorting it out, going through it, it was like walking through a hallway where all the decades of my life were just passing by the entire time. And it kind of reminded me of that thing that all of our parents always say, where it's like, oh, things were so much better back in our day. And you know, like, was there some merit to that? And so that's what I hope to explore here. So going through all these CDs, first and foremost, the biggest thing that hit was nostalgia. That wonderful feeling that none of us can really describe, but everyone can instantly recognize. And so what about nostalgia that just draws us in and is so absolutely appealing to us? And for me, what I find to be interesting is, like, I say that the past is a great place to visit. Just be careful not to stay there too long. And going through all of this and experiencing all of that was like the summary of what I just said there. It was the feeling behind what I just said there. I could pull any of these off the wall and tell you a story about how I bought it. This is Elton John's 2013 album, 2014, somewhere around there. I had just gotten out of high school, first paycheck, listened to this song on the radio, went out and bought the album. That's something I can do with everything here, and I can't say that for other mediums. And that is why I say so much about physical media and nostalgia kind of going hand in hand. They are so much intrinsically a part of our past that they are just one and the same almost. Like, to go back into a physical media is also to go back into its place in time that was before. That is why I think nostalgia is probably the biggest factor of that wow, that feeling when going through here that I can't quite explain but hope to capsulize. But then there's of course the actual physical appeal of this here. This is a physical wall of CDs behind me, and no matter how large of a digital library or database I have, I will never have a music wall unless it's a physical thing. And that is why the physicality means so much to me, because this is a thing. This is something I can show, this is something I can touch. There is a story behind every CD on this shelf. Everything that I bought here, I can pull it off and I can tell you exactly what I was thinking, what I was doing, why I bought it. The human experience is made up of stories. Like, what makes me me is the stories that I've experienced throughout my life. And these here are a physical representation of those stories. A great deal of the stories that make up my existence are displayed here on this shelf. And I feel like that's something that the physical media really has over digital. Digital is the crown king for convenience, and it will always be that. There will be no taking that away from it. But there is still something to be said about the intrinsical stories behind the physical medium, and the fact that stories are, as I've said before, what form the human experience. Of course, there's the fact that the physicality of everything brings humanity back into the arts. I think with the digital age, we are losing grasp of humanity, and what is art if it's not a reflection of oneself and their stories and their life? It is just an empty portrait, noise in a room, whatever you want to call it. It is not art, it is hollow. And so when you take the humanity away from it, you take away essentially what it is. The physical realm serves to preserve that humanity, serves to preserve that physicality. Because where you have algorithms and programs giving you recommendations, with physical media, a friend can hand this to you. And then that friend can be gone from your life for whatever reason, but you will always have a piece of them in that CD that they gave you. A recommendation goes the same way. Recommendations are a dying art, they're not dead, but to the same end, there's a big difference between meeting someone and telling them, hey, you need to check this out, or handing them this disc and say, hey, I made this for you, versus just sending them a link online. Like, yeah, they'll look it up, yeah, they'll enjoy it, but you've taken away the humanity of it. The last point I feel I need to bring up here is variety, because internet radio touts an unlimited amount of songs, a database bigger than anyone could ever hope to listen to in their entire lives, and I don't doubt that that is true, but the variety that it provides is still lackluster when compared against the variety that you can create for yourself. This is an entire wall of what is now well over 1,000 CDs. Roughly, if there's 10 songs on a CD, that's I don't math. But anyway, that kind of music variety does not exist on an online platform. They're building playlists based upon what you tell them you like, and then they will continue to play songs that you tell them that you like, and they'll suggest things and sprinkle things throughout, but the truest variety comes from your own experiences and being able to control that variety. And with this physical music here and all the music that I have, it is curated just for me. I know exactly what I want, I have exactly what I want, and when I want to listen to something, I pull it out and listen to it. These stations, like the internet radio specifically, those stations are curated repetition based upon what you've already told them you like, based upon what they think you'll like, and the variety there is dependent upon who that system decides they want to promote. And discovery is a lot less prevalent than some might think. So in closing, I went pretty deep on this whole concept of physicality in music, got really philosophical with you guys. I was just trying to understand for myself why doing this felt so great. It truly was like the best, one of the best days of my life, like top 10 easy. And that's a lot. Like, I'm not saying that just for like, oh, it's so great. No, it really was quite the experience. And honestly, like, what I hope to get out of this, obviously, it's not feasible to go tell everybody to go throw out, cancel your subscriptions, get rid of all your digital media. That's not feasible because money's a thing, obviously. But, you know, try and create stories with your art. You're driving home from work or driving to work and Spotify shows you a new song that you just absolutely love. Tie a story to that song and bring that humanity back into the art form so that when you hear that song, you're not just like, oh yeah, I heard that driving to work one day. It was, oh yeah, it was a rainy, stormy day and like I was excited because it was Friday or whatever. Just add some personality to the music you discover. Like, I've said it 100 times, it comes hand in hand when it's physical because there's a transaction there, there's something you're touching, you have that memory, you don't have to consciously create the memory. But if you do so, I think your enjoyment of the arts will be greatly improved. And so that's my takeaway from here. Obviously, I'm not asking anybody to change the world. Don't go and cancel everything. If you want to and you can, great. Like, go physical. But if that's not for you, that's fine. Just try and impart the human experience into art. That's all I want.